devotees. Yogi Yunjita Satatam Atmanam Rahasi Sthitaha Ekaki Yatachittatma Nirashi Aparigraha. Transcendentalist should always engage his body, mind, and self in relationship with the Supreme. He should live alone, a secluded place, and should always control his mind. He should be free from desires and feelings of possessiveness. Krishna is realized in different degrees as Brahman, Paramatma, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna consciousness means concisely to be engaged in the transcendental loving service of the Lord. But those who are attached to the impersonal Brahman or the localized super soul are also partially Krishna conscious, because impersonal Brahman is a spiritual ray of Krishna and the super soul is the all-pervading partial expansion of Krishna. Thus, the impersonalist and the meditator are also indirectly Krishna conscious. A directly Krishna conscious person, though, is the topmost transcendentalist, because as a devotee knows what is meant by Brahman and Paramatma. His knowledge of the absolute truth is perfect, whereas the impersonalist and the meditative yogi are imperfectly Krishna conscious. Nevertheless, all of these are instructed herewith to be constantly engaged in their particular pursuits, so that they may come to the highest perfection sooner or later. The first business of a transcendentalist is to keep the mind always on Krishna. One should always think of Krishna and not forget him even for a moment. Concentration of the mind on the Supreme is called samadhi or trance. In order to concentrate the mind, one should always remain in seclusion and avoid disturbance by external objects. He should be very careful to accept favorable and reject unfavorable conditions that affect this realization. And in perfect determination, he should not hanker after unnecessary material things and that entangle him by feelings of possessiveness. All these perfections and precautions are perfectly executed when one is directly in Krishna consciousness. Because direct Krishna consciousness means self-abnegation, wherein there is very little chance for material possessiveness. Srila Rupa Goswami characterizes Krishna consciousness in this way: Anasaktasya vitayan yata arham upayunjataha nirbandhaha Krishna sambandhe yuktam vairagyam uchyate. प्रापंचिकतया बुद्धिया हरिसंबंधी वस्तुनः मुक्षुभिः परित्यागो वैराग्यम फल्गु कथ्यते. When one is not attached to anything but at the same time accepts everything in relation to Krishna only, one is rightly situated above possessiveness. On the other hand, one who rejects everything without knowledge of his relationship with Krishna is not as complete in his renunciation. A Krishna conscious person well knows that everything belongs to Krishna, and thus he is always free from feelings of personal possession. As such, he has no hankering for anything on his own personal account. He knows how to accept things in favor of Krishna consciousness and how to reject things unfavorable to Krishna consciousness. He is always aloof from material things because he is always transcendental. And he is always alone, having nothing to do with persons not in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, a person in Krishna consciousness is the perfect yogi. So, Krishna saying, Yogi Yunjita Satatam. Spiritual life means continuous. Material life means discontinuous. Simple. So, if you try to do anything in this world continuously, you will find that you are not able to do it. That is one proof that this is material. Even trying to say, I want to be famous, I want to be wealthy, say I want to work very hard. How long will you work hard? Can we do as Krishna says, Satatam, continuously? We can't. Can I keep staring at my wife for the whole day, whole night, for 10 days, Or can she stare at me for 10 days, 20 days? No, it's not possible. So if you do anything in this material world, anything, I like driving. Okay, can you drive your whole life? No, I cannot. I'm a foodie. Can you always eat? No. So everything in this world is material because it doesn't deserve our meditation. You can't actually engage with it constantly. But anything spiritual, actually, we can constantly revel in it. It could be spiritual means there is only one entity. You cannot say, I believe in this, I believe in that. Spiritual means Advaya Vastu. Advaya Vastu. Yad Jnanam Advayam. That same Advaya Vastu is understood as formless entity by the Jnanis and as the Hrit Pundarikam, as the Lord who pervades everything by the Ashtanga yogis, and as the Lord who performs beautiful pastimes as the devotees. It is the same Advaya Vastu. But based on their advancement, each one realizes the same Advaya Vastu proportionately. So, Brahman realization is perfect realization. Paramatma realization is more perfect realization. And Bhagavan realization is most perfect. Who says that? Krishna himself says. Yoginam vi sarvesha madgate antaratmana shraddhavan bhajate yomam same yuktatamo mataha. So, spiritual life means continuous. That's what Krishna says. Yogi Yunjita Satatam. He constantly thinks of me. Yogi Yunjita Satatam. Atmanam Rahasi Stitaha. He doesn't want to mix with the large mass of people. Most people, the mass of people in this material world, they are interested in eating, sleeping, mating, defending. Even if they come to the temple or go to the mosque or go to the church, ultimately, if you see the ultimate desire that the person would be having, I mean, that includes me also, is that the proclivity is that eat well, sleep well, mate well, defend well, find a partner, build a big house, grow your kids. Very narrow consciousness. And that's what they can think of. So a yogi is very careful not to mix with the general mass of people. As soon as one mixes with the general mass of people, one's spiritual advancement takes a hit. Takes a hit. Because the general mass of people's, their thoughts, their words, their activities, they are constantly always on the material platform. They never want to transcend the material platform. So they are called karmis. So I myself am a karmi. If I want to transcend my stage, how can I transcend if I associate with people who are like me, who are as foolish as me or more foolish than me? It's not possible. So Krishna says here, Atmanam rahasi stitaha. He's making sure that he is not uh, associating with the general mass of people. He's in a secluded place. A devotee might be with the general mass of people, but he is also secluded because he's only with Krishna. What is the proof? That while being with the general mass of people, he speaks only about Krishna. And ekaki, he relishes pleasure alone. Ekaki, Yata Chittatma. All the senses are completely controlled. Yata Chittatma. So this is how a devotee must have determination, that he must have this determination that I want to think of Krishna constantly. So this is what sometimes as devotees we think, no, I don't want to think of Krishna constantly. Our objective itself is very low. We are not intensely thinking, I want to think of Krishna constantly. I don't want to forget Krishna even for a moment. This must be the start of the Sankalpa. And then we should constantly think like Mahaprabhu says, Asatsanga Tyagayi Vaishnavachar. We must not associate with people who are materialistic. Right? Ashod Ek Stri Shangi. One of the Asat is one who is interested in the matters of this world. Stri Shangi. And for a Stri Purusha Sangi. The other Stri Sangi is a person who's interested in wealth, interested in Pratishta, or other Asat Sangas also, one who's not interested in serving Krishna and the person. They are moksha kamas, siddhikami, moksha kami, siddhikami. So all of these are also in one sense asat sangha. So rahasi stitaha. So a devotee must be very careful not to take association. When will you be careful? When will you be careful to not take bad association? When we are very serious about the goal. When we are not very serious about the goal, you will not be serious. You will think, so what if I associate with non-devotees? It doesn't matter. Why do we feel like that? Because I'm not actually serious about the goal. Why am I not serious about the goal? Because I do not know the sanctity of the goal. I do not know the sublime, how sublime the goal is, how real Krishna is. I do not know. Why do I not know how real Krishna is? What is my position? Because I have not served a pure devotee. I'm simply a bookworm. I have not still served a pure devotee. So Krishna is not an objective reality in my heart. So I never feel the need to serve him. I never feel the need, the urgency to achieve him. And because I don't feel the urgency to achieve him, I feel that he's very cheap. I feel he doesn't exist. So I'm very licentious in my dealings. So I associate freely with non-devotees. I see whatever I want to see on social media. I want to speak anything. So in this way, I'm very irresponsible in my sadhana. I'm not eager to protect my bhakti. Why am I not eager? Because I'm not serious. Why am I not serious? Like I mentioned, I've not served a pure devotee. I've not heard from a pure devotee. I'm not convinced Krishna is real and I need to go back to God at this very lifetime. I'm not convinced. If I were convinced, Atmanam Rahasi Sthitaha, Ekaki Yatachittatma Nirashi, I give up all material desires and I will give up all sense of possessiveness. So this is the meaning of aspiring to come to the platform of pure devotional service. Through only pure devotional service can Krishna be known. So we must come to this platform. We must not associate with non-devotees. We must not slack on our sadhana. If we do that, then that means we are in a very heavy predicament actually. We are absorbed in material association, absorbed in material ideas. And that's very, very dangerous. Because the next body can be anything. The next body can be anything. Don't think my next body is very nice. No, my next body can be anything. If I don't become Krishna consciousness very soon, very fast, I have to accept another material body and it is not very pretty. But this mind will forget all of this and again and again and again seek material association. So, ekaki yatachittatma. Let's be very, very careful. Nirashi aparigraha. So, how will this start? We must have a strong sankalpa that I must remember Krishna every moment. And not remembering Krishna every moment is the greatest loss of life. So, we must have such a bhav. With such a bhav, I can cultivate pure devotional service. We'll stop here. Any questions or comments? Thank you, devotees. Hare Krishna.